Hi everybody, Sarah here from the Big Blue House Homestead. Just got finished filming some of my garden issues outside, but I have to move forward and get a lot of work done. So you're in my very messy bedroom and my desk is even worse. But I've got to start saving some seeds from these radish pods. I've got lots of pods out there, lots of different types. So I just want to show you some tricks and some tips. Okay, so what I've got going on is I've got a bag of brown lunch bags, just normal lunch bags, and a Sharpie marker, because first things first, I need to mark these bags. I save all of my seeds in bags for the purpose of letting those brown bags or filters, because I used to do coffee filters all the time, but I don't have room this year to lay coffee filters all over my tables. So I'm going to the brown bag method. I figured it'll work the same way. Since I used to use the cone shape filters, I would put all my seeds in. The brown will actually wick out the moisture, and so it helps dry those pods a lot quicker, or the seeds themselves. So all I do is I like to add things to the brown bags. But like I said, we got to get these labeled first before we head outside. So you're going to be seeing my messy desk for a minute. Just one of those things. Okay, big pile of garden notes. I keep them here all the time. And I always have water on hand because I spend more time outside than I do inside. But we've got to find the ones that I have marked for radishes so I can get these bags going. All right, so I'm just going to dig through real quick and look to see what I've got. And that's not radishes. That's radishes. That's the ones from up front. The ones in the back I know are scarlet globe, but the ones up front I definitely have to write down because there are 6 types. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start and I'm going to mark them as number 1 is going to be my bed 1. And that way I don't get confused when I take these bags out. And that is the lady slipper. And so I've just written on there number 1 and the name. And I'm going to go through and do that with all of these. So I've got number 2. And we've got Halloween mix. Number 2, garden giant. And so on and so forth. So I'm going to get these written down. And then we're going to go outside and we're going to play with some radish pods. Okay, so these are ginormous amounts of radish pods. Lots and lots of radish pods. And what I've got to do today is I've got to start harvesting them. Some of these still have a lot of flowers and they're not quite ready, so I'm going to leave those to be. But there's tons. I mean, tons of pods, and I've got a lot going on here. So I need to go ahead and start picking. What I've got is some scarlet globe here on the end, and then these are actually black Spanish radishes. You really cannot truly see how many pods are on here. This plant is just, I mean, loaded down. But all of that is seed. All I did was let the radishes go. As soon as they started to bolt, I left them in the ground and I let them do their thing. And so now I've got to start harvesting. So I've got my brown paper bag in hand, marked scarlet globe, because we're going to do these ones on the end first. I'm just going to open my bag up and set it down. And I'm going to come through and just clip off as much of the stem as possible and just put those into the bag. But I do want to make sure that I only get the scarlet globe in each bag that they go in. I want to make sure the radishes stay very nice and separated. But yeah, lots of pods. Okay, I've got my bag for my black Spanish. I mean, you can clearly see I have plants that are everywhere. And what I was talking about is I don't want to take the entire stem. I just want to cut off close to the pods and put them into the bag, especially since they're so large. But I'm just going to come through and clip all these down. Lots of pods. And as I take that weight off, the plant's bouncing back. But while we're here, I'm going to pull this one. I'm going to see what these radishes look like, because this is the problem when you let things go to seed. It's completely inedible. That's not an edible radish. It's very hard and woody. It almost feels like a stick, a soft stick. But that is now just compost. So I'll get these beds all cleaned up because I have lots of stuff that I can replant. And that's what I'm gonna do. We'll work on getting all these pods. So Kale's still doing well. Got to start coming out here and getting spinach seeds. They're getting close. And here's another big pot of radishes. Sorry, Brian's in the background putting lights back in. We'd mowed. And these, you can see, have just started to bolt. So I will probably leave most of these pods and let them form up a little bit better. I mean, I have too many flowers. My opinion is if you have too many flowers and not enough pods, then you need to let the pods go a little bit longer. And then I need to come out and start saving borage because it's at the end of its life. And then all of these started. These started bolting. I did make the bags for them, but they're just not close enough to being ready. And for some reason, these guys just haven't bolted yet. But they do not look good. These do not look like yummy radishes. So I'm just going to keep leaving them until the seed forms. But reality is I probably picked, I don't know, 2 big giant Ziploc bags full out of all of this. And so I really just wanted seed. I was more concerned about seed than I was for actually eating more radishes. Once the season gets hot for us, I just can't grow them. All right, so I'm going to come down here in the end and I'm going to get these all clipped and put away, and then I'll show you what I've got going on. So like I said, bags full. And I still have 4 types that are going to be picked soon, and I have another type that is just waiting to bolt, but never does. I'm just going to give up on them. And then I've got the whole back section back there, so I will definitely go get those picked today too, because that's all the Scarlet Globe, and I need to get a lot of those. They're my favorite. But overall, with all the varieties that I've tried this year, the only truly real radish that I'm not really fond of is the China White. They're a big, long white. I just don't like them. I never cared for those. All of these turned out pretty good. There was a spicy one. I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to look it up because it's in a mix. It's in the Halloween mix. It was a little too spicy. But when you cook down a radish, you don't taste the spice anymore. It just has like the texture and crunch of a potato. So I'll still eat them. I mean, they're edible. But yeah, I got to work on cleaning all these beds out this week because I have stuff that I need to put in. And I've got to get all seeds started so that I can start saving the seeds. Big giant process. So I'm going to go pick the rest of those Scarlet Globes down in the garden because it's a pretty big, massive area. Probably should have brought 2 bags for those. But I always think ahead and then forget and then think again when I'm in the middle of the trouble. So we'll get it worked out. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys how easy it was to save radish seeds. Reality is I put those in. I started planting in the end of February. No, end of March. I started planting in the end of March because the weather was so cold. And then by June, they were already starting their pods. So it only took a couple months and I have all these seeds. There's Chi-Chi like always. But I did open up a pod fresh. I'm going to show you so that you guys can see this too. Okay, this one is a black Spanish radish. And you just kind of have to work your little thumbnail in there to get it split. When they dry, it's a lot easier. These are just, you know, green and fresh. But just to show you how many seeds you can actually get in one of these pods. Alright, so what we're looking at is there's a bunch of seeds here, and then there's still more down underneath because I didn't open it all the way. But I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that I can see, so there's probably 2 more. So that's 8 seeds per pod. So think about it, you know, if you eat, let's say 25 radishes a year, you only need a few pods. But to have all of this, you can grow larger amounts, and that's why I think it's important to save seeds. That way you can produce and grow as much as you can. Alright, so I'm not saving this pod because I've already opened it. I want them to naturally dry. Gives me a better seed. So once that happens, we'll get that worked out. But yeah, I'm going to go pick the radishes and get this done. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye. Okay, so I added this in at the end because I had to just share. Sorry. Two bags full. This is just Scarlet Globe. I just left a big section in the garden. Check that out. That's a lot of radish seeds. So I don't think a little tiny lunch bag is going to work for me. Instead, I'm going to grab a garbage bag or something bigger. I mean, it's like unbelievable amount of seeds. But I have all the radish seeds I need. Plant in the fall, plant in the spring, plant again and again and again. So good stuff. But yeah, at some point I'll pull all the seeds out and we'll weigh them, and we'll see how many ounces of seed I actually got from these scarlet globes, because like I said, this is a lot, and I've got 2 bags full. It's the life when you're a busy gardener and you decide to save your own seeds. You build yourself work. And what's really good about this is I can hang these and not touch them until winter, after all of my canning season dies off and things of that nature, and then I can just sit back and relax and pick seeds. So yeah, lots of seeds.